And joining us now to discuss Bitcoin price and more from Greenwich, Connecticut is Michael Maguire at Simbridge, a crypto exchange focused on institutional and professional traders. Welcome to the show, Michael.
Hi, Christine. Thanks for having me.
Great to have you. Last week, analysts were talking about going as low as $20,000 for Bitcoin. This week, BTC, of course, spiked above $40,000. So what do you make of this upswing and the volatility we're seeing in Bitcoin right now?
Yeah, so I think it's pretty interesting. When you reached out to us last week to speak on this show, Bitcoin was trading at about 30,000, and today it's trading at about 40,000. So that's a lot of volatility in the market. It's something that people need to be considerate of and understand the risk when they're trading this asset.
Okay, well, so is another run-up possible, or will we expect continued dips as seen in previous months?
I think seeing what Chairman Gensler responds to, or how he responds to Senator Warren's letter, which is supposed to be due tomorrow, might have a dampening effect on the market. But if it's a measured response and not too reactive, I think we might see a run-up. With this type of liquidity and the leverage that's available in the market, you could see 50, but you could also see 25.
What are some of the best case or worst case scenarios from the response from the SEC? Because, people often say regulation is good for crypto. It'll clear the gray lines that we have, and it will give a clear road toward innovation. But there are, of course, folks who fear that regulation that goes a little too heavy-handed could stifle innovation.
Sure. I think market incumbents are probably a little bit more afraid of regulation than upstarts. We value transparency and regulation in the markets at Simbridge. That's really important to us. We have a blockchain native exchange, which addresses some of the issues that were raised in Senator Warren's letter about market manipulation, wash trading, spoofing, trading against your own clients. So I think that's important. What I'd like to see is some really thoughtful regulations and perhaps a recommendation that people in the industry come together and set out sort of rules of the road and what exchanges will do and what they won't do. And if we can't police ourselves and heavy-handed regulation comes in, then I think the whole market gets pushed offshore.
Right. So Senator Warren, as you mentioned, she has now written to Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen, in addition to giving the SEC a deadline tomorrow to outline how they will regulate crypto exchanges. How do you think this conversation will impact Bitcoin?
Yeah, I think Bitcoin being, the predominant use case for blockchain technology, and as you alluded to earlier, we don't want regulation to stifle it. So again, I think a measured response by the regulators, understanding that Bitcoin is a new asset class, or relatively new considering all asset classes, and to approach it with a delicate balance, because over-regulation is not going to help the market at all.
Mm-hmm. And do you have a sense of how institutions or large holders and investors are positioning themselves in the current markets?
I think if I recall, Tesla, while they sold some of their position, they still maintain the same level of position in Q2 that they did in Q1. So I think that's a good indicator. A lot of the research that's coming out from Fidelity is supporting more institutional adoption. 7 out of 10 institutional investors looking to invest in Bitcoin. But what they are looking for is a little bit more regulation in the space to create a safer and more transparent market. And we think that's really important.
Michael, end of year prediction?
I don't want to be caught on a prediction. I want to look like a smart guy for a really long time.